Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahusha, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahusha Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity. This lesson will be entitled Because of Unrighteous Dealings, my source RT.com, and this article is entitled Billionaires fill in the blank. Profits alone could pay for 3K stimulus checks to every American. This article was published on the 9th of December 2020, and it states American billionaires made so much money during the fill in the blank that their profits since March are enough to give every U.S. resident a $3,000 check without cutting into their fill in the blank wealth. A new report shows over the last 9 months, the 651 billionaires who called the U.S. home have increased their wealth by a whopping $1.6 trillion, according to a report published Tuesday by Americans for Tax Fairness and the Institute for Policy Studies. Far from being negatively impacted by the fill-in-the-blank related economic shutdowns, the country's super rich seem to have thrived amid the policies that have plunged so many ordinary Americans into poverty. This was an objective within this pandemic to wipe out the middle class, to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. And it states, the billionaires' wealth grew so much that they could cut every man, woman, and child in the country a $3,000 stimulus check and still be richer than they were 9 months ago. ATF Executive Director Frank Clemente said in a Tuesday press release. The report tracked the Fat Cat's profits from March the 18th, the approximate start date of the economic shutdowns, through December the 7th. The vast majority accelerated their accumulation of wealth, even as ordinary Americans saw their life savings slip through their fingers, losing jobs, businesses, and loved ones to the 1-2 punch of the fill-in-the-blank and the political response. After 9 months of raking in the cash, the billionaires' total wealth has soared 36% to over $4 trillion, nearly twice the $2.1 trillion in wealth held by the poorest 50% of Americans. The monstrous cash pile amounts to double the 2-year budget gap of all state and local governments, a figure estimated to reach $500 billion thanks to the devastating effects of the economic shutdowns on tax revenues. It even approaches the massive sum the federal government spends on the Medicare and Medicaid, $644 billion and $389 billion in 2019, respectively, the report claims. While most working and middle-class Americans received a single stimulus payment of $1,200 as part of March CARES Act, fill-in-the-blank bailout, a promised second stimulus check has failed to materialize. The expanded unemployment program that doled out $600 per week to newly jobless Americans came to an end in July. And while President Donald Trump issued an executive order to bridge the gap with a less generous $300 weekly payment, Congress has thus far refused to pass a second fill-in-the-blank bailout package, even as the rest of the bailout programs are set to expire at the end of the year. One of the chief beneficiaries of the physical explosion has been Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. whose personal fortune increased 63% since March as lockdown Americans turned to online shopping to meet their needs. The retail tycoon faced sharp criticism over his company's alleged mistreatment of Amazon warehouse workers in the early days of the fill in the blank. But had he distributed his $71.4 billion windfall among Amazon employees, workers would have received $88,000 each, while leaving their boss just as rich as he was before fill in the blank. So you see how much these peons have grossed. Now imagine the international bankers, the true nobility of Edom, such as the Rothschilds, trickling down to the other 12 elite families. Think about how much they have profited. So this article states that Amazon employees would have received $88,000 each while leaving their boss just as rich as he was before. Okay? A majority of these idiots can't see that this pandemic was planned. It was designed to formulate the Great Reset. On the left-hand side of the Most High. And it states, and Bezos, said to be the richest man in the U.S., wasn't even the most blessed by fill in the blank. That title goes to Tesla billionaire Elon Musk, whose wealth grew by an eye-popping 542% from just $24.6 billion in March to $143 billion by December. Musk is about to get quite a bit richer too, after his Starlink satellite company won a federal communications commission auction to deliver bandwidth to hundreds of thousands of rural Americans. Senate Democrats circulated a letter earlier this week demanding another $1,200 stimulus payment be part of the fill in the blank aid package currently being debated in Congress. The party has balked at a Republican authored bailout proposal that would exclude individual payments and include a 5-year liability shield for corporations. A measure Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders derisively dubbed a get-out-of-jail card to corporations. Key point. These so-called billionaires has made so much money that they could literally cut a $3,000 stimulus check and still be richer, okay, than they were 9 months ago. So they have made a lot of money. Let's get Psalm 73:12. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. The ungodly, so-called white people based on their father's lineage. And according to biblical doctrine, they are the Edomites. And like I stated before, these are your low-level Edomites, such as Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos. Now imagine how much wealth the nobility of Edom has accumulated, beginning with the Rothschilds. They prosper, okay, through oppression. This system is designed to oppress the Israelites. All right, let's get another precept. Proverbs 22:16. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, beginning with the nobility of Edom, because they control this entire beast-like system. They are responsible for this pandemic. They are responsible for people wearing masks, people receiving the vaccine, people that must be tested. Okay, people liberties are being taken away because they control this entire beast-like system. Hence, Job 9:24. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushua gave them that power to rule for an appointed time. Okay, now it states, Proverbs 22:16. He that oppresseth the poor. Who's the poor? Israelites, so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans. We are the poor according to holy biblical doctrine, to increase his riches, and he that give to the rich shall surely come to want. Meaning what? Their want in the Hebrew is going to poverty, because what goes around comes around. Okay? Their riches will be translated because of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua's great reset, because of Yahushua's new world order. This is Ecclesiastes 5:13. There is a sore evil which I have seen under the sun. What's underneath the sun? Hence earth. Okay? Namely, riches kept for the owners thereof to their hurt. Right. Because the way Esau has attained his riches are unlawful. Okay? He utilized wicked measures to become wealthy, and therefore he must be punished for his actions. Okay? Verse 14. But those riches perish by evil travail. In the Hebrew, travail goes into business. Okay? And he begetteth a son, and there is nothing in his hand. Meaning what? Symbolically, Esau will have nothing to pass to his sons regarding an inheritance. Okay, why? Because this is his last time to rule. Okay? Yahweh will send his right hand on earth to judge the wicked. Back in 13, there is a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely riches kept for the owners thereof to their hurt. Their wickedness is manifested in their riches that they have attained. Now, because of these great riches they have attained, these same riches will bear witness against the Edomites, beginning with the nobility of Edom. Okay? Verse 15, as he came forth of his mother's womb, naked shall he return to go as he came. And that's literal. and shall take nothing of his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. Esau is going to lose everything. Point blank, period. Last precept. Ecclesiasticus 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, billionaires, fill in the blank, profits alone could pay for $3,000 stimulus checks to every American. American billionaires made so much money during the fill in the blank that their profits since March are enough to give every U.S. resident a $3,000 check without cutting into their fill in the blank wealth. Ecclesiasticus 10 and verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. This pandemic, okay, is extremely deceitful. The kingdom rulership is translated from one people, hence Edom, to another, hence Yahushua and the 144, trickling down to the rest of the elect, trickling down to the entire nation of Israel. Lord, will you edify? Shalom.